अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज आपकी मुलाकात डॉक्टर तलत अफजा से मनी एंड बैंकिंग के 33rd लेक्चर में हो रही है। You know that our today's lecture basically is the continuation of our previous lecture in which we started talking about the central bank and the role of the central bank. And then after that we started talking about the objectives which normally are given to the central bank. And finally we talked about how a central bank can perform its function effectively and what are the prerequisites for that. And we also said कि यही सेंट्रल बैंक जो है वो एक मॉडर्न सेंट्रल बैंक की फॉर्म में कंफर्टेबली मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी को एग्जीक्यूट कर सकता है और मॉनेटरी बेस के थ्रू जो है वो बैंकिंग सिस्टम को कंट्रोल करता है. So our today's lecture basically will be the continuation of the same topic, but I would like to revise what we have discussed in the previous lecture. So we said the central bank is one important component of our overall financial system. The importance of the central bank definitely cannot be denied because the central bank has the link with the government on the one hand, and then it has the link with the other banks on the other hand. When we talk about the role of the central bank performs the role as the government's bank. Just like the way we have our accounts handled by a commercial bank, the central bank also performs the same services for the government. So it is the government's bank. On the other hand, the role of the central bank is also there as the banker's bank. That whenever the banks are in problem, our central bank acts as the lender of the last resort. So in case the banks, they have a situation in which they are not that much liquid, they can go to the central bank and they can borrow funds. Moreover, the central bank also formulate the rules and regulation which the commercial banks have to follow for the smooth functioning of the entire commercial banking system. Just like any institution, any organization, the central bank also has certain objectives. The policy makers, they also give certain objective to the central bank which the central bank always try to achieve. तो जब हम सेंट्रल बैंक की बात कर रहे हैं, it is not specific to any country. We are talking about the central bank for whichever country. The role of the central bank basically is a kind of universal role. The central banks are there in each and every country. So the objectives are, of course, the common objectives. The first and the foremost is the control of inflation. So the first objective of any central bank can be categorized as keeping a low and stable inflation in the economy. Secondly, they also focus on the growth rate. And the objective assigned to the central bank is, or the objective of the central bank is to achieve a high and stable growth. And along with the growth, they should also be keeping in mind the level of employment. So they should try to achieve a high level of employment. And then we talk about the stability of the financial system. That they should focus on the stability of the financial system. And finally, the objectives of stable interest rate and the exchange rates are also on the list or the agenda of any central bank. So in order to achieve all of these objectives, there is certain prerequisite. And the prerequisite is that the central bank should not be influenced by external factors. In other words, the central bank should be independent. हम ये भी कह सकते हैं कि सेंट्रल बैंक जो है वो एक ऑटोनमस बॉडी या ऑटोनमस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होनी चाहिए, एंड द पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर शुड नॉट बी exerted on the functioning of the central bank. So in order to perform its functions in a smooth way, there are certain prerequisites for a modern central bank. If these prerequisites are met, then the central bank can perform its objective, achieve the objectives and perform its functions. So what are the prerequisites? The first and the foremost is the independence. Central banks should be making their own budgets, and there should not be any external pressure exerted on them. And once they have taken a decision, that decision should not be reversed by anybody who is external to the central bank. That is the first and the very important prerequisite for the smooth functioning of a modern central bank. Secondly, we talk about the decision making. There we say that decision making should be done in committees. It should not be an individual decision. Because when we talk about the committee decision, then the experience and the knowledge of everybody who is participating in that decision always contribute towards the optimal decision making. So that is the second prerequisite. And thirdly, there should be transparency. Whatever action, whatever transaction central bank makes, those actions and the transactions should be transparent. And how that is achieved? By publishing the financial statements of the central bank. The central bank can go for the transparency of its activities. And finally, the central bank should have good communication with the other banks and the general public. So these were some of the prerequisites for a smooth functioning of modern central bank. उसके बाद हमने ये कहा कि just like a manufacturing concern or a commercial bank, the central bank also prepares its financial statement. And the financial position of the central bank is reflected by the balance sheet of the central bank. आपको याद होगा कि जब हम बात कर रहे थे commercial bank की, then we compared the balance sheet of a commercial bank with a manufacturing organization. And there we said, the deposit at a bank basically constitute an asset for a manufacturing concern. But the same deposit on the balance sheet of the bank is taken as the liability. So that deposit at the bank is a liability for the commercial bank. Because as and when the depositor make a request for withdrawal, the commercial bank has to make the payment to the deposit. So that becomes a liability. And of course, there are assets of the banks as well. For example, loans. When we take a loan, or any other organization, a business entity, takes a loan from the commercial bank, what happens? The loan is our liability. We have to pay back our loan. But when we look at the balance sheet of the commercial bank, that same loan is an asset. Because this is something which the bank has handed over to the borrower. So from the commercial bank's point of view, the loan is an asset, whereas from a business and the individual's point of view, the loan is a liability. Now, we are talking about the central bank's balance sheet. The central bank also prepares its balance sheet. And just like any representative balance sheet, the balance sheet of the central bank contains assets on the one hand and liabilities and the equities on the other hand. Now we need to look at the composition of these assets and the liabilities. So we start with the asset side of the central bank. We can talk about the two categories of the assets. The first categories of the assets are those assets which are generated when the central bank performs its roles as the government's bank. And the second category of the asset is that category when the central bank performs its role as the banker's bank. Talking about the role of the central bank as the government's bank, the first category is what? Of course, the government, just like any commercial bank. What do we have for the asset side of the commercial bank? We have the reserves which are there. But when we are talking about the government here, what do the government has for the central bank? That basically is the securities. But at the same time, we also talked about a unique role performed by the central bank, and that was the money creation. आपको याद होगा कि हमने ये कहा था कि सेंट्रल बैंक ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट प्रिंट्स मनी and it has the monopoly power over printing of the money. So that money which has been printed, or we call it as the currency, stays there in the central bank on the asset side. Government securities and the currencies are the assets which a central bank keeps as the central bank is performing its role as the government's bank. Then is the role of the central bank as the banker's bank. Role of the central bank as a banker's bank also creates certain assets. And those assets are which the central bank gives loan to the other bank, commercial banks. So loan given by the central bank to the other banks are also another category of assets. Because try to recall, हमने ये कहा था कि हमारा central bank acts as the lender of the last resort. So whenever the central bank extends loan to the commercial bank, so that becomes an asset for the central bank but a liability for the commercial banks. Then we talked about the liability side. Again, on the liability side, what do we have here? Just like any other bank, the deposits of the government, the role of the central bank as the government's bank. So the deposits of the governments are the liability of the central bank. Whereas the government securities are the asset, but the government currency is a liability. So on the liability side, we have the currency and we have the deposit of the government. The role of the central bank as the banker's bank brings another category of the liability, which are the reserves. Because in our banking system, all the banks are required to keep certain level of reserve with the central bank. So that reserve basically is the liability of the central bank. But these reserves are the assets for the commercial banks. So this was the detail of the balance sheet. And of course, there are so many other items. If you look at the real life central bank's balance sheet, there are so many other assets and liabilities. But for simplicity, we have only talked about the assets and the liabilities, which are the major categories. Other than that, we can talk about the gold reserve, we can talk about so many other things. So we have just focused on the major categories. So our focus will remain on the balance sheet of the central bank today, and we are going to discuss certain transactions undertaken by the central bank, commercial bank, or the general public, where those transactions can change the composition and the size of the balance sheet of a central bank. Now, before we go into the detail of certain transactions which can change the size and the composition of the central bank, let's take a simple example. Suppose we make a purchase from a store, grocery store, worth ₹2,000, and we do not pay cash. And suppose the payment is made through a check. Of course, we have a checking account with a bank and we are writing a check against that account. We may have profit and loss account and we can also write a check against that profit and loss account. So whatever the nature of the account is, what will happen? We will receive the groceries, we'll make the payment with that check. Now the grocery store owner will deposit that check into his bank account. So if our account is in bank A and the grocery store's owner's account is in bank B, what will happen? This particular transaction where we have purchased the groceries will do what? कि हमने जो पेमेंट की है, हमारा अकाउंट जो है वो डेबिट हो जाएगा, कम हो जाएगा, हमारे बैंक में से वो पैसे निकल जाएंगे और बैंक बी में जो ग्रोसरी स्टोर ओनर का अकाउंट है वो जो है वो क्रेडिट हो जाएगा या उसमें अमाउंट जो है एड अप हो जाएगी. अब सिंपली क्या है कि मनी जो है एक बैंक से निकलकर दूसरे बैंक में चली गई. These banks, they are supposed to keep a certain level of reserve with the central bank. और level of reserve जो है that is dependent on the level of deposits. तो जब हमने चेक लिखा in our account which we have maintained in bank A, तो क्या होगा कि बैंक ए के रिजर्व जो है वो सेंट्रल बैंक में कम हो जाएंगे क्योंकि डिपॉजिट कम हो गए. दूसरी तरफ बैंक बी के रिजर्व जो है वो सेंट्रल बैंक में बढ़ जाएंगे क्योंकि वो चेक जो है वो बैंक बी में जाके जमा हो गया. ओवरऑल क्या हुआ? देयर इज नो चेंज ऑन द बैलेंस शीट ऑफ द सेंट्रल बैंक. सिंपली डिटेल में जाके हम देख सकते हैं बैंक ए के रिजर्व कम हुए, बैंक बी के बढ़ गए. ओवरऑल रिजर्व जो है वो दे रिमेन द सेम. लेकिन व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द सेंट्रल बैंक itself, and if the central bank undertakes a transaction, then the situation will be different. कि central bank, let's assume, makes a transaction. और नॉर्मली हमारे सेंट्रल बैंक जो है वो किस तरह की ट्रांजेक्शन्स अंडरटेक करते हैं? सपोज ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन इज वन ऑफ द कॉमन ट्रांजेक्शन अंडरटेकन बाय एनी सेंट्रल बैंक. अब ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन में क्या होता है कि सेंट्रल बैंक परचेजेस एंड सेल्स द गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज. जैसा कि अभी हमने देखा कि एसेट साइड में सेंट्रल बैंक के पास जो है वो गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज मौजूद होती हैं. अब लेट्स अज्यूम कि गवर्नमेंट जो है थ्रू सेंट्रल बैंक सिक्योरिटीज जो है वो सपोज परचेज करती है क्योंकि हमारे पास जो कमर्शियल बैंक्स हैं दे कीप अ सर्टेन लेवल ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज विद देमसेल्व्स. तो जब हम कहते हैं ओपन मार्केट परचेज ऑफ द सिक्योरिटीज तो सेंट्रल बैंक जो है वो उन बैंक से परचेज करता है गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज जो कि ऑलरेडी उन बैंक्स के पास मौजूद हैं. सो विद द परचेज ऑफ द सेंट्रल बैंक्स सिक्योरिटीज फ्रॉम द अदर बैंक्स क्या होगा कि वो सिक्योरिटीज का जो एसेट है ऑन द सेंट्रल बैंक बैलेंस शीट वो बढ़ जाएगा। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ पेमेंट किस तरह करते हैं कि पेमेंट कैन बी मेड बाय इंक्रीजिंग द रिजर्व ऑफ दैट बैंक विद द सेंट्रल बैंक। एक चीज ध्यान में रखें कि सिर्फ सेंट्रल बैंक के पास ये कैपेबिलिटी है कि वो रिजर्व जो है वो बैंक्स के बढ़ा सकते हैं। इन अदर वर्ड्स कि वो अपने अगेंस्ट खुद ही चेक जो है वो सिर्फ सेंट्रल बैंक जो है वो लिख सकता है। तो अब इस ट्रांजैक्शन में क्या होगा कि एक तरफ सिक्योरिटीज बढ़ेंगे और दूसरी तरफ ऑटोमेटिकली उस बैंक के रिजर्व जो है वो सेंट्रल बैंक बढ़ा देगा, जिसकी वजह से साइज ऑफ द बैलेंस शीट ऑफ द सेंट्रल बैंक जो है वो इंक्रीज कर जाएगा। अब इसको आप कंपेयर करें विद आवर ग्रोसरी पेमेंट एग्जाम्पल के साथ। ग्रोसरी पेमेंट एग्जाम्पल में क्या हुआ था कि सेंट्रल बैंक की बैलेंस शीट के ऊपर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा था, सिर्फ रिजर्व्स के अंदर एक बैंक के रिजर्व कम हो गए थे और दूसरे बैंक के रिजर्व्स बढ़ गए थे एंड द बैलेंस जो है वो दैट रिमेन्ड द सेम। लेकिन जब सेंट्रल बैंक ने ये ट्रांजैक्शन की है, सबसे पहले तो साइज ऑफ द ट्रांजैक्शन विल बी लार्ज, से 1 मिलियन रुपीज, और दूसरा ये है कि इस ट्रांजैक्शन की वजह से सेंट्रल बैंक की बैलेंस शीट जो है वो बढ़ गई है। अब अगर हम इसी ट्रांजैक्शन को दूसरे एंगल से देखें, से कि सेल ऑफ द सिक्योरिटीज, तो क्या होगा कि गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज जो है वो सेंट्रल बैंक में कम हो जाएंगी, उन्होंने सेल कर दिया और जिसकी वजह से रिजर्व्स जो है बैंक्स के वो भी कम हो जाएंगे सेंट्रल बैंक के साथ। तो सेंट्रल बैंक की जो बैलेंस शीट है वो श्रिंक कर जाएगी। तो इसी तरह कुछ और ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं जो के साइज एंड द कंपोजिशन ऑफ द सेंट्रल बैंक बैलेंस शीट जो है उसको अफेक्ट कर सकती हैं। तो आज हम 3-4 टिपिकल ट्रांजैक्शंस लेंगे। इनफैक्ट 4 ट्रांजैक्शंस जो है वो हम उनको देखेंगे। सबसे पहली हमारी यही है ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन वाली। उसके बाद हम देखेंगे फॉरेन एक्सचेंज इंटरवेंशन बाय द सेंट्रल बैंक, और उसमें भी हम परचेज एंड सेल की बात करेंगे। देन अनदर फंक्शन ऑफ द सेंट्रल बैंक, एक्सटेंडिंग द डिस्काउंट लोन्स टू द अदर बैंक्स, तो थर्ड हमारी वो होगी। एंड फाइनली we'll look at a very simple grassroots level transaction के withdrawal of the cash by a depositor from a commercial bank। और फिर हम ये देखेंगे कि इन चारों ट्रांजैक्शंस का सेंट्रल बैंक की बैलेंस शीट पे क्या असर पड़ता है, कमर्शियल बैंक की बैलेंस शीट्स पे क्या असर पड़ता है, और नॉन बैंक पब्लिक के ऊपर इफ एनी क्या असर पड़ता है। तो लेट्स एनालाइज ऑल ऑफ दीज ट्रांजैक्शंस वन बाय वन। तो अब हम शुरू करते हैं विद द ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन। अब ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन जो है वो सबसे ज्यादा वाइडली यूज्ड ट्रांजैक्शन है बाय द सेंट्रल बैंक, क्योंकि इससे पहले लेक्चर में आपको याद होगा वी सेड द रोल ऑफ द सेंट्रल बैंक इज टू कंट्रोल द सप्लाई ऑफ मनी एंड क्रेडिट इन द इकोनॉमी। एंड हाउ डज the central bank controls the supply of money and credit in the economy? That of course is with the help of the banking system। और उसमें जो सबसे ज्यादा ट्रांजैक्शन यूज होती है that is the open market operation। इसमें हम अज्यूम करते हैं सपोज कि we are talking about purchase of the securities by the central bank from the other commercial banks, and let's make a simplified assumption here कि OMO जो है that is worth 1 million. So OMO is when the central bank buys or sells securities in financial markets. These purchases and sales have a straightforward impact on the central bank's balance sheet. Its assets and the liabilities increase by the amount of the purchase and the monetary base increases by the same amount. कि हम जब बात करते हैं कि सेंट्रल बैंक जो है उसने सिक्योरिटीज को परचेज किया, सो विद द परचेज ऑफ द सिक्योरिटीज एक तरफ तो हमारे पास एसेट साइड पे सिक्योरिटीज गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज की हेड है, और दूसरी तरफ हमारे पास लायबिलिटी साइड पे अदर बैंक्स का जो है वो रिजर्व्स मौजूद हैं। तो एसेट्स भी चेंज होंगे, लायबिलिटीज भी चेंज होंगी, और दूसरी तरह हमारे पास मॉनेटरी बेस। बिफोर वी गो इनटू द डिटेल ऑफ दिस, लेट्स डिफाइन द मॉनेटरी बेस कि मॉनेटरी बेस होती क्या है। मॉनेटरी बेस बेसिकली इज the currency in the hands of the general public and the reserves of the bank with the central bank. That is the monetary base. अब इस monetary base को हम high powered money भी कहते हैं. Why? Because on the basis of this, the supply of money and credit in the financial market changes. तो monetary base जो है, that becomes the basis on which the supply of money or money in circulation as well as the level of credit in the financial system that changes. तो monetary base is basically define कैसे हम करते हैं कि monetary base is equal to currency plus the reserves of the banks with the central bank. इनमें से कोई भी चेंज हो कंपोनेंट तो उससे जो है हमारी सप्लाई ऑफ मनी एंड द लेवल ऑफ क्रेडिट चेंज होता है. आगे जाके हम देखेंगे आज के लेक्चर में और इंशाल्लाह अगले लेक्चर में भी कि किस तरह ये मैकेनिज्म जो है वो सप्लाई ऑफ मनी और क्रेडिट को चेंज करता है इन एनी इकोनॉमी. तो इस कमिंग बैक टू द ट्रांजैक्शन हियर, ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन, कि जिसमें हम ये कह रहे हैं कि बैंक ने जो है लेट्स अज्यूम 100,000 की परचेज की है, तो उसका क्या इफेक्ट होगा. ऑफ कोर्स इससे हम ये देखेंगे कि एसेट्स और लायबिलिटीज चेंज होंगी. बट लेट्स टॉक अबाउट अ सिंपल रूल. और रूल ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बिफोर वी गो इनटू द इन डेप्थ एनालिसिस ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दीज 4 ट्रांजैक्शंस. अब वो ये है कि if there is any increase in the asset side, in any one of the assets, there should be a corresponding decrease in any other asset. Or the second scenario can be, if there is an increase in the asset, there should be a corresponding increase in the liabilities as well. This is a basic accounting principle. क्योंकि हमारी जो बैलेंस शीट है that is prepared on the basis of an accounting identity which says assets are equal to liabilities plus equity. So in order to keep that equality intact, if the asset side increases, then the liabilities should follow the suit, or if there is no change on the liability side, then if there is increase in one asset category, there should be a corresponding decrease in the other asset category. So this principle we are going to follow and is always applicable in any of the transactions on the balance sheet accounts. तो जब हम ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन की बात करते हैं, हमने एग्जांपल क्या ली है कि वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द परचेज ऑफ सिक्योरिटी बाय द सेंट्रल बैंक वर्थ 100,000. तो उससे क्या होगा? Looking at the balance sheet here, we have reflected the change in the central bank's balance sheet following purchase of a treasury bond. Treasury bond, of course, is a security. So on the asset side, securities in the form of the US treasury bond will increase by, and here we have taken not 100,000, 1 billion. So on this balance sheet, we have $1 billion. So securities will increase by 1 billion and the liabilities in the form of the reserves will increase by 1 billion. क्योंकि आपको याद होगा कि हमने ये कहा था कि reserves of the other banks, they are the asset for the other banks, but they are the liability for the central bank. Just like our deposit. Our deposit with the bank is an asset for us, but it is a liability for the bank. On the same argument, the reserves of the other banks with the central bank is a liability, but they are the asset for the commercial banks. So here, this transaction will bring a change on the central bank's balance sheet. On the asset side, securities in the form of the government treasury bond will increase by $1 billion On the liability side, the reserves of the banks will increase by 1 billion. Overall, if you look at the balance sheet, the size of the balance sheet has been expanded. Size जो है वो expand कर गया, balance sheet जो है वो बड़ी हो गई. Now let's look at the impact of the same transaction on the balance sheet of the other banks. So change in the banking system balance sheet following the central bank's purchase of a treasury bond. On the asset side, what do we see here? कि अभी हमने ये देखा था कि reserves of the central bank, कि दूसरे banks के reserve which they have kept with the central bank, वो increase कर गए थे 1 billion से. और वही reserve जो हैं, they are the asset for the other banks. तो वो यहाँ पे हम दिखा रहे हैं कि reserves are increasing by 1 billion. But at the same time, there is a change on another asset for the banking sector. And those are the securities, क्योंकि securities उन्होंने hand over कर दी हैं to the central bank, और central bank में asset side पे securities बढ़ गई थी. इसलिए यहाँ पे securities जो हैं हमने deduct की a decrease. So one asset side increase has been matched with the other asset decrease of 1 billion, and overall balance sheet will remain in balance. Now in terms of the banking system's balance sheet, the purchase has no effect on the liabilities and it results in two counterbalancing changes on the asset side. So the net effect there is 0. If overall we look at the banking sector balance sheet, the size of the balance sheet has remained the same because they do not have that capability to increase or decrease the reserves. Only the central bank has that capacity. Therefore, central bank की balance sheet जो है वो enhance हो गई, बड़ी हो गई. For an open market sale, the effect would be the same but in the opposite direction. कि अगर हम इसी transaction को दूसरे angle से देखें कि open market sale of the securities, तो उसमें क्या होगा? Definitely, by selling the government securities to the other banks, what will happen? On the central bank's balance sheet, the level of the securities will decrease, the assets will decrease. And of course, the banks, they have to make payments to the central bank. तो उनके account को central bank debit कर देगा. So the reserves of the other banks will decline. So we'll have a decrease in the securities, which is the asset for the central bank. We will have a decrease in the reserves of the other bank, which is a liability of the central bank. And overall, central bank's balance sheet will shrink. If we look at the balance sheet of the banking sector, what will happen? The sale of the securities, their securities will decrease because, the central bank has sold the securities, so they have purchased. So there the securities will increase, but the reserves with the central bank will decline because they have made the payment through those reserves. So the net effect again will be 0. So this is one transaction through which the central bank can change the size of its balance sheet and of course the composition of the assets as well. So let's look at the second type of transaction, which is the foreign exchange intervention. Now the central banks, they keep a certain level of foreign exchange reserves with them. Because when we look at the objective of the central bank, one of the objective is to maintain a stable exchange rate. So in order to maintain the stability of the exchange rate, the central bank keeps a certain level of foreign exchange reserves with itself, so that it can intervene in the foreign exchange market. The intervention, of course, is through the sale and purchase. So when we look at the foreign exchange intervention again, the central bank, just like the open market operation, is buying and selling the foreign currency. The only difference is we are going to see the net effect will remain the same. But the only difference will be now the change is going to take place in the securities denominated in the foreign currency. The rest of the transaction for the purchase and the sale will exactly remain the same, and the net effect is going to remain the same. So let's see what we have here. The impact of a foreign exchange purchase is almost identical to that of an open market purchase. The central bank's assets and liabilities increase by the same amount, as does the monetary base. If the central bank buys from a commercial bank, the impact again is like the open market purchase, except the asset involved are different. कि बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली वही बात होगी. और अगर अब हम ये कह रहे हैं कि गवर्नमेंट जो है थ्रू द सेंट्रल बैंक फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मार्केट के अंदर इंटरवीन करती है, और उसमें सपोज दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट परचेजिंग द सिक्योरिटीज डिनोमिनेटेड इन फॉरेन करेंसी, कि वो जो है अपनी करेंसी को अगर स्टेबलाइज करना चाहते हैं अगेंस्ट द फॉरेन करेंसी, तो वो क्या करेंगे कि दे विल इंटरवीन इन द फॉरेन मार्केट. और अब दे हैव डिसाइडेड कि इंटरवेंशन जो है विल बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ परचेजिंग द फॉरेन करेंसी. तो वो क्या होगा कि इट्स गोइंग टू हैव एन इम्पैक्ट ऑन द सेंट्रल बैंक्स बैलेंस शीट, एंड द इम्पैक्ट इज गोइंग टू बी एग्जैक्टली द सेम एज ऑफ द ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन. So if we look at the balance sheet of the central bank, what do we see here? The change in the central bank's balance sheet following purchase of euro-denominated German government bonds. So foreign currency here is the euro, and these bonds are issued by the German government. On the asset side, our foreign exchange reserves will increase by 1 billion. But these foreign exchange reserves, the detail is that German government bonds in euros. On the liabilities side, the reserves will increase by 1 billion. Now, when the central bank has purchased these euro bonds, then they have to make a payment to the banks if they have purchased it from the other banks. So, the payment is made by increasing the reserves of the other banks. So, on the one hand, when we look at the central bank's balance sheet, the assets which are the securities denominated in euro, they have increased. On the other hand, liabilities, which are the reserves of the other banks, they have increased. Overall, we can say the size of the central bank's balance sheet has increased. Now, if we try to look at the impact of the same transaction on the banking sector's balance sheet, so it will be something like this. A change in the banking system's balance sheet following the central bank's purchase of euro-denominated German bonds. There won't be any change on the liabilities side, just like the open market operation. There is a change on two assets. On the one hand, the securities denominated in euro, they will increase, and the reserves with the central bank will increase. So the reserves are increasing by 1 billion, and the securities denominated in euro issued by the German government, they have declined by 1 billion. And the net effect on the banking sector balance sheet is no change on the asset side, and of course no change on the liabilities. There is only a change in the composition of the assets. Now let's talk about a third type of transaction. The third type of transaction is the discount loans. As we have already discussed, the role of the central bank is for the banks as a lender of the last resort. That whenever bank faces crisis, and those crises are the liquidity crisis, and what we say here is that banks are liquid, but not very liquid. Means they are partially liquid, and then if more and more depositors, they come for the withdrawal of their money, then they do not have sufficient cash. But they are solvent. Solvent in the sense that their liabilities are less than their asset. They have the positive net worth. So what they can do is, they can go to the central bank and ask for the loan. The central bank does not force the other banks to take a loan from the bank. But they are in need of liquid funds, they can go and borrow from the central bank. how borrowing takes place. As we have already discussed, the commercial banks or the other banks, they have their reserves with the central bank, and they also keep the government securities with them. The government securities held by the commercial banks, they are the assets. And of course, the reserves they have with the central bank, they are also assets. So when the banks are in need of funds, what they will do is, they will go and sell these securities or get these securities discounted. Discounted in the sense that they are going to hand these securities over to loan against those securities and then meet the customer's demand. Customer means the depositor's demand. Overall effect will be, there will not be any change on the balance sheet of the commercial banks. But of course, there will be a change on the balance sheet of the central bank. So let's look at the change in the central bank's balance sheet following our discount loan. And here we are saying that the commercial banks, they are taking a loan worth 100 million. So discount loans, 100 million, they are the asset for the central bank. So that will increase. On the other side, hand, the reserves of the commercial bank, 100 million, which is a liability for the central bank, that will also increase. Overall, 100 million assets increase and 100 million reserves increase will expand the size of the central bank's balance sheet. But what will happen to the balance sheet of the banking sector? So the change in the banking system's balance sheet following a discount loan, their assets, which are the reserves, will increase by 100 million. Their liabilities, which are the discount loan, will increase by 100 million. Because they have taken a loan, so the loan is a liability for the other banks. And their reserves with the central bank will increase by the same amount, which definitely is the asset. So the extension of credit to banking system raises the level of reserves and expands the monetary base. The banking system balance sheet shows an increase in assets, reserves, and an increase in liabilities, the loan. So basically, the extension of a discount loan to the banking system has resulted in an increase on the asset side of the banking system's balance sheet as well as on the liabilities side. Overall, if we look at the change in the monetary base, so we have an increase in the reserves and therefore an increase in the monetary base, which will result in an increase in the money supply. So ये तीनों transactions हमारी, number 1 open market operation, number 2 intervention in the foreign exchange market, and number 3 extension of a discount loan to a commercial bank by the bank. In other words, increase in the banking system reserves with the central bank, and we can also say extension in size of central bank. So whether it is the expansion in the size of the expansion in the reserves of the banking system, all of these will result in the expansion of the monetary base. Now these three transactions changes the size as well as the composition of the central bank's balance sheet. Now we are going to talk about another transaction, cash withdrawal by a depositor, which will not change the size of the balance sheet, central bank's balance sheet, but it will only result in changing the composition of the balance sheet. So for that, let's see, cash withdrawals affect only the composition, not the size of the monetary base. When people withdraw cash, they force a shift from reserves to currency on the central bank's balance sheet. Because overall, we were analyzing these transactions, how they are going to affect the central bank's balance sheet. Now, cash withdrawal by a depositor will change the composition of the central bank's balance sheet. Changing the composition means reserves and the currency. These will be changes. Currency will decrease, and of course, the similar decrease will be in the reserves. Overall, what will happen? There won't be any change in the size of the central bank's balance sheet. So let's analyze these changes in the, let's suppose, the central bank's balance sheet. Number 2, banking system's balance sheet. Number 3, general public's balance sheet. So firstly, we look at the general public or the non-bank public. Change in the non-bank's public's balance sheet following a cash withdrawal. Now this change here is very simple and straightforward. Whenever we go to a bank and withdraw our funds, what happens? We receive currency and our account is debited. हमारा डिपॉजिट विद द बैंक जो होगा वो कम हो जाएगा और करेंसी हमारी करेंसी होल्डिंग जो है वो बढ़ जाएगी. एंड दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव शोन हियर. $100 withdrawal will result in general public or the non-bank's public balance sheet में currency will increase by $100 and checkable deposit will decrease by 100. There is only change on the asset side of it. कि हमारा deposit with the bank कम होके currency जो है वो बढ़ जाएगी. Now as a second step, we try to look at the changes which will take place on the banking system's balance sheet. And then finally we will move to see the changes on the central bank's balance sheet. So here change in the banking system's balance sheet following a cash withdrawal. अब बैंक में हमारा जो अकाउंट था चेकेबल डिपॉजिट that basically was a liability, जो कि हम बारहा कहते आए हैं कि जो हमारे बैलेंसेस होते हैं, जो हमारे अकाउंट्स होते हैं विद द कमर्शियल बैंक्स, दे आर द एसेट्स फ्रॉम आवर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू बट दे आर द लायबिलिटी फ्रॉम द कमर्शियल बैंक्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. तो जब हमने कैश विथड्रॉ कर लिया तो क्या होगा कि जो हमारे डिपॉजिट है विच इज अ लायबिलिटी ऑफ अ कमर्शियल बैंक वो कम हो गया. दूसरी तरफ जब हम एसेट साइड को देखें, हमारे रिजर्व्स, द रिजर्व्स मींस द कमर्शियल बैंक्स के रिजर्व विद द सेंट्रल बैंक वो भी कम हो गए, क्योंकि रिजर्व जो है वो चेंज होते रहते हैं विद द चेंज इन द लेवल ऑफ द डिपॉजिट्स. तो जब डिपॉजिट ज्यादा आते हैं बैंक के पास तो उनके रिजर्व्स भी सेंट्रल बैंक के साथ करस्पॉन्डिंगली बढ़ते चले जाते हैं. अब क्योंकि जो है विड्रॉल हो गई, बैंक के रिजर्व जो है वो सेंट्रल बैंक से कम हो गए क्योंकि डिपॉजिट जो है वो कम हो गए हैं. एंड फाइनली लेट्स लुक एट द चेंजेस which will take place on the central bank's balance sheet. So change in the central bank's balance sheet following a cash withdrawal. What we see here is there is no change on the asset side. On the liability side, reserves of the other banks, which is a liability for the central bank, declines by 100 and the currency, which again is a liability, increases by 100. Because currency in the hands of the general public is a liability for the central bank. जब हम देख रहे थे कि एसेट्स और लायबिलिटीज क्या क्या है सेंट्रल बैंक के, तो करेंसी जो थी दैट वाज अ लायबिलिटी. तो एक तरफ जो है वो करेंसी में चेंज आई है और दूसरी तरफ क्या है, रिजर्व्स में जो है वो चेंज आ गई है. तो ओवरऑल क्या है कि दोनों चेंजेस जो है लायबिलिटीज साइड पे ही है, करेंसी इंक्रीज की और रिजर्व जो है वो डिक्लाइन की. What we see here is the net effect on the size of the central bank's balance sheet is zero. Only change is taking place on the liability side where one liability is increasing and the other liability is declining. तो ये तो थी हमारी 4 मुख्तलिफ ट्रांजेक्शंस जिसको हम एनालाइज कर रहे थे एंड वी वर ट्राइंग टू सी कि इसका जो है वो सेंट्रल बैंक की बैलेंस शीट पे क्या असर पड़ेगा. एंड ऑफ कोर्स वी वर मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन चेंजेस इन द मॉनेटरी बेस. अब मॉनेटरी बेस को हमने डिफाइन कैसे किया था, करेंसी प्लस द रिजर्व्स. अब यहाँ पे हमारे पास क्या हो रहा है कि देयर इज नो चेंज इन द मॉनेटरी बेस। एक तरफ तो हमारे पास करेंसी में चेंज आ रहा है, करस्पॉन्डिंगली ऑपोजिट चेंज आ रहा है रिजर्व्स में, देयरफॉर देयर इज नो चेंज इन द मॉनेटरी बेस। तो अब हमने इन चारों ट्रांजैक्शन को आज के लेक्चर में डिस्कस किया है, बट बिफोर आई क्लोज टुडेज लेक्चर I have presented all of these 4 transactions in the form of a table so that we will be able to revise what we have covered in today's lecture. So what we have here is the changes in the size and composition of central bank's balance sheet and monies. We have taken all these 4 transactions in the first column and then who initiated the transaction in the second column, then the typical action and finally the impact. Now starting with the open market operation, which is initiated by the central bank, and here we have assumed the purchase of treasury bond. This will increase the reserves, the size of the central bank balance sheet and the monetary base. Number 2, foreign exchange intervention, which is initiated by the central bank, and here we are assuming the purchase of the foreign government bonds. And the impact will be increases reserves, the size of the central bank's balance sheet and the monetary base. So what we see here is that the first 2 transactions are identical. They are initiated by the central bank. The impact is increase in the reserves and the size of the balance sheet of the central bank as well as the increase in monetary base. The only difference is in the first one we are purchasing the government securities, on the second one we are purchasing the foreign securities denominated in the foreign currency. Then comes the third transaction, discount loans. Now they are initiated by the commercial bank and here we are assuming extension of loan to commercial bank by the central bank. And the impact is increased reserves, the size of the central bank's balance sheet and the monetary base. Now here there is a difference. The transaction has been initiated by the commercial banks. And the central bank has extended the loan to the commercial bank. But the net effect again remains the same as of first 2 transactions. Increase in the reserves and size of the central bank balance sheet as well as the monetary base. And finally, withdrawal of cash. So cash withdrawal is initiated by the non-bank public. Typical action, withdrawal of cash from automated teller machine ATM. Impact is increased reserves and increased currency, leaving the size of the central bank's balance sheet unchanged and monetary base also unchanged. The last transaction basically is different from the first 3 transactions in the sense, number 1, it is initiated by the non-bank public. Number 2, it has resulted in no change in the size of the central bank's balance sheet as well as the monetary base. So this was our today's lecture. So inshallah, in the next lecture, we'll continue with our topic of the central bank, but then our focus is going to be on the link between the monetary base and the change in the money and credit in the system with the help of the creation multiplier. तब इजाजत दीजिए, अल्लाह हाफिज।